everyone, how are you? I hope you're all well. I've got my elbows on the table. And that's okay because I'm not eating. But you know that it's very impolite to have your elbows on the table when you are eating, when you're having lunch or when you're having dinner. Do you know why? Well, it has something to do with Leonardo da Vinci. And I'm going to tell you what it is later in the lesson. Okay? So in today's lesson, we're going to talk about Leonardo da Vinci's life and all the amazing things that he did in his life. Okay? Good. Are you ready? So let's start. Okay, so here's the comic, page 50-51, that we are going to listen and read. The title is A Man with Many Talents. Okay, talent is the same word in French, so you know what it means. Okay, so let's listen and read. Try to follow at the same time.
A man with many talents. You probably know that Leonardo da Vinci was a famous painter, but did you know that he was a scientist, an inventor, an architect, and an engineer too?
Good. So you already know that because we've seen that Leonardo da Vinci had many occupations and interests and many jobs. Okay, so here he was a painter, a scientist, an inventor, an architect, an engineer, but you also know that he was a writer, a philosopher, a draftsman, a botanist, an anatomist, a sculptor, and many more. Okay, he was a very brilliant man. Good, so let's go on.
Leonardo the boy. Leonardo da Vinci was born near the town of Vinci in 1452. At the age of 15, he moved to Florence with his family. His father wanted to find a good job for Leonardo. They visited a famous artist and they showed him Leonardo's drawings. He asked Leonardo to work with him.
Good. So Leonardo da Vinci was born near the town of Vinci. I'm going to show you now the map of Italy. Okay, so this is the map of Italy. Leonardo da Vinci was born near Vinci. Okay, so he wasn't born in Vinci, but in a town which is called Anciano, which was next to Vinci. Okay, and at the age of 5, he went to live in Vinci. So he spent all his childhood in Vinci. He wasn't allowed to go to school, okay, because his parents were not married. So it was a bit of a problem at that time. And that's why he wasn't allowed to go to school. He didn't go to school. He had to learn all by himself. And this is when he started to observe the nature and develop a huge curiosity and interest for nature. And he also started to draw everything he saw. So at the age of 15, he went to Florence with his father. There, he started to work in an art workshop. In this art workshop, he learned all his technical and artistic skills. At the age of 30, he went to Milan. There, he worked as an engineer, a military engineer, an architect or painter, a sculptor, and also a craftsman. He also spent some time in Rome, about 2 or 3 years, and at the end of his life, he went to France. He was invited by the King of France, who was Francis I, and he invited him to work there and to live there. So he went to the Château d'Amboise in the southwest of Paris, and this is where he lived his last years of his life. And then he died in 1590. Okay? So why was he called Leonardo da Vinci? Well, because as his parents were not married, he didn't have any official surname. Okay? So people started calling him Da Vinci, which is from Vinci. It's Leonardo from Vinci. Okay? Because he spent all his childhood near Vinci, which is just next to Florence. Okay? There is one more thing I need to tell you about Florence. In Florence, at that time, at the beginning of the 15th century, there was an explosion of art, culture, science, politics. This time, this period of time was called La Renaissance. It's a French word which means a rebirth, the rebirth of science and culture. All this became very important again. And Leonardo da Vinci is the very best example of a Renaissance man, because he was so brilliant and interested in so many fields. He is the perfect example of the Renaissance era. So at the age of 15, he went to Florence, and there he worked for a famous artist. Okay, so this is the famous artist we're talking about. His name was Andrea del Verrocchio. So now I'm going to show you all the technical and artistic skills that Leonardo learned in Verrocchio's art workshop. So this is a self-portrait of Andrea del Verrocchio, and these are all the technical skills that he learned. So don't worry about the words here, you won't need to remember them, but it's just for you to have an idea of all the technical skills that Leonardo da Vinci learned. Okay, so he learned metalworking, chemistry, metallurgy, leatherworking. So this is la fabrication du cuir, la maroquinerie on dit en français. Plaster casting, which is le moulage en plâtre. Carpentry, technical drafting, and mechanics. This is actually a mechanical lion that Leonardo da Vinci designed and that has been reproduced. Good. So can you see all the skills here? I mean, this is just amazing, all the things that he learned. Don't you think so? And of course, he learned artistic skills like painting, drawing, sculpting, and clay modeling. Clay modeling is de l'argile. Okay? So Leonardo worked as an apprentice at Verrocchio's art workshop. And he was such a good painter that he collaborated in many of Verrocchio's paintings. So here's an example. This painting is the Baptism of Christ, painted by Andrea del Verrocchio, but we know for sure that Leonardo painted the angel here on the left side. Here you can see it more closely. So here, this is the angel that Leonardo da Vinci painted, and this angel here was painted by Verrocchio. So there is a story that says that when Verrocchio saw the angel that Leonardo da Vinci painted, he became very sad and he started crying because he realized that he would never paint like Leonardo da Vinci. And there is an anecdote that says that at this moment, Verrocchio decided not to paint ever again. But we don't know if it's true. Okay, but one thing is sure is that Leonardo painted this angel and that it was just amazing. You can see it even closer here. the hair, and the robe, everything is so precise and realistic. So what's interesting here is that Leonardo da Vinci collaborated in many other Verrocchio's paintings, but that we don't know about it. So there is this art historian, his name is Lawrence Cantor, and he works at Yale University. Yale University is a famous university near New York in the United States. So he's an art historian, so he's an expert in art. And he gave this conference in 2018, which is 2 years ago. And I watched this conference on YouTube. And he shows us a few paintings that are attributed to Andrea del Verrocchio, but that he thinks that some parts of these paintings have been painted by Leonardo da Vinci. So here is an example. This painting, The Virgin and the Child, attributed to Andrea del Verrocchio. Well, Cantor thinks that the veil here and the robe here are so real, so precise, so realistic that it could only have been the work of a master like Leonardo da Vinci. Here you can see a bit closer. Okay, you can see how precise and realistic it is, and you can see the hair beneath the veil. Okay, and here the robe, you can actually feel the texture of the robe. So here's another painting that Cantor talks about in his conference. So this is a painting attributed to Verrocchio, okay, the Virgin and Child with 2 angels, okay. So here you can see it even closer, the lily, the hair of the child, and the robe, how it looks like. You can see reflection of the light, and here the preciseness of the embroidery. So Cantor says that the angel and the robe could only have been painted by Leonardo da Vinci. So just another painting I want to show you because it's just amazing. This painting, the Madonna di Piazza, attributed to Andrea del Verrocchio. Well, Lawrence Cantor thinks that the carpet here could only have been the work of Leonardo da Vinci, especially because of the geometrical shapes and the fringes of the carpet. I'm going to show you a closer image. Here, can you see the fringes of the carpet and all the geometrical shapes? Well, it is so precise and so real that Lawrence Cantor thinks, is actually convinced that this is the work of Leonardo da Vinci. Well, just to let you know that we don't have many works of Leonardo da Vinci left, about 15 paintings, but you can find some parts of Leonardo participation in some other works. Okay. Now, let's go on with the reading.
Leonardo the scientist. Leonardo learnt quickly. He wanted to understand everything about the subjects of his paintings. So he started to study how the human body worked. He did lots of drawings of the body. They were very accurate.
Now move your arms.
This is Leonardo's drawing of a hand, and this is a scan of a hand from today. Leonardo's drawing is more than 500 years old, but it's very accurate.
Yes, Leonardo da Vinci was a scientist. He believed that studying science would make him a better artist. So he dissected over 30 bodies to understand how the body works. And this is why he could draw hundreds of sketches about the human anatomy. And he also made great discoveries about the human heart. So Leonardo was a mathematician. He was very much interested in geometry and in the proportions of the human body, because he thought that if he understood the proportions of the human body, he could understand the whole universe. Some scientists say today that this could also be the study of movement, okay, because when you move your arms like this, okay, you can see the arms up and then down, okay? So that's why in the comic they say, now move your arms, okay? Because some scientists think that it could be the study of movement.